All right. Genevieve, everybody. So we're here for lesson 5 this time, and we're going to look at another Korah, another conversation, and we will look at a recording of that. It's just me this time, but next week we should have everybody on the same schedules and everything. So hopefully this week hasn't been too bad for all of you, but for anyone just tuning in or just catching us, we are Gaeltacht Greenville, an organization here in Greenville, South Carolina that promotes the Irish language and helps people start learning the Irish language and also get in touch with other Irish resources to help them continue learning. So, hi, Lynn. Chiagwich. One of the things that I wanted to let anyone new know, if you're seeing this live or on replay, is that if you want to get on the email list to get the PDF handouts, which are linked below in the description of this video too, but if you want to get them ahead of time so you can look at them with the lesson, you can do that by going to our Facebook page. You just search Gaeltacht Greenville and hit the sign up button to sign up for the emails, and you'll get all of those. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and get started. I did record with Leah the Korah and the folklore, the vocabulary, and then also going through the Korah a second time. There's a little bit extra when it comes to the vocabulary that we have for you this time. I wanted to give you a little extra, so we'll go over that as well. So let me go ahead and switch it over to that, and we will go ahead and play that for you. All right, so for the Korah today, we are looking at Tig and Clodagh. They've come back to Clodagh's house before Tig has to leave and go back to North Carolina, and they talk about Clodagh's new house. Now, our first lesson, some of these things are going to kind of flash back to the first lesson and the first Korah that we had, but it's going to be a bit different and introduce some more vocab. And we'll go over some new grammar points that it touches on or introduces us to. So we won't get too heavy into any particular grammar point, but we will get introduced to 2 new ones that we'll want to take a look at. So let's go down here. There we go. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So let's see. If you can do Clodagh, Leah, I'll do Tig. All right. And okay, so here we go. It's problem to hack unwilshesh. Hang on. I'll probably have to cut that out. Okay. So it's problem to hack unwilshesh shan no nua.
Gur mamagat is tach nua aimshaha e. Ach tá doras nua agus an winog sha.
Kebade shomra ta ege.
Tá siomer si avon hishtin naig. Ga siomer folka agus tri siomer lapa age.
Ta sheshin inchak.
Valak glina ishka nuardagan.
Go kintje bavalum. All right. So there are some words in here that differ with pronunciation depending on the dialect. So, and I may have been pronouncing them one way and Leah pronouncing them the other way. But again, these things are intelligible across Ireland. So just as long as you stick with one that you prefer, that should be fine. But let's take a look at the folklore. So take a look at the folklore. All right. So once again, I'll read the English if Leah can read the Gaeilge. So I love, I really like.
Is bralam
problem. So it's like the ismalum. So that's it's good with me. This is it's great with me. So it's a little bit more emphasis there that you really like something. The word for old,
Shan,
the word for new,
Nua,
and we had this one before, so it can be nua or new depending on the dialect. The word for or.
No,
Now, this one can get confused when you're listening because we have the word no in English, obviously meaning, no way. But no with the fada, the accent mark in Irish means or. So it means or. All right. And then we have a modern or literally new temporal or new times, modern.
Nua, I'm sure.
Okay. And the door,
Honduras,
the window,
Unwinog,
how many,
Cavade,
this.
Sha,
Now we had this one, and I will just mention something really shortly here. The word for this is treated like an adjective for the most part. We didn't really touch on that, but as you'll see in the Korah, the word for this comes after the noun. Whereas in English it comes before the noun, like we put adjectives before nouns. So it would be like noun this, meaning this noun. So that's sha. The word for room
Shomra,
and the word for living room.
Shomra C,
One or only one thing,
Avon,
or it can be a one. So I can go in here and type. Let's see. Oops. Avon. It could be a wong or a vong. For kitchen or a kitchen.
Hishton. And this is one of those sounds that's, I'm not sure that we really have in English, but yeah, Hishton.
Mm-hmm. It's like a KY sound, so you can actually, let's see. I can also put this. Kirsten. Yeah, it has a y tucked in there. All right. So you may hear it both depending on the speaker. And the word for of course.
Ernai,
Let's see. You may hear so Leah with the Munster, it's Ernai. So air let's see how. Ernai. I'll just write it that way. So Ernoi or Ernai means of course. And that's one of those phrases that, because this is conversational, we'll throw in every once in a while a more complex phrase because people are speaking, so they're going to use those types of filler phrases, and those are good to learn. So we'll throw in a little bit here and there when it's needed. So just like that one. The words for two rooms.
Ra Hyomra,
And it's that G in the back of the throat. The word for bathroom.
Shomra Folka,
Okay. And the word for three rooms.
Tree Hyomra,
Okay. And bedroom.
Shomra Lapa,
It or he has blank.
Ta blank, I guess.
Okay. So again, tall comes at the front because our verb is going to come at the front, and then ega, which is at it or at him. So something is at him or something is at it, meaning it has it. All right. The word for that.
Shin,
And that one's just like the word for this. So it's treated as an adjective, comes after the noun. Then the word for wonderful, an adverbial form of wonderful.
Gahuntach And I think it's pronounced Gaeltacht in other parts of Ireland, but in the month Gaeltacht.
So let's do Gaeltacht. Okay. Oops. There we go. But you may hear it either way. And usage of on its own without being in a sentence, it's starting to, at least what I heard recently, is it's starting to phase out that the G and the first H is starting to fall off. So you may hear it more often this way, depending on where you are. It depends on location and who you're talking to, once again. But the word for wonderful as an adjective.
Untach or Iantach.
Let me add that here. Okay. And then also, would you like?
Ervalat or Erwalat in
Erwalat. True. And the word for something.
Rudagan.
Now, the word for thing is rud, and you'll hear that a lot. So that is one of the most common words. So knowing how to say thing or something will actually help you a lot if you're practicing listening to any conversation as Gaeilge. So rudagan, something, and then certainly.
Gakinta.
Notice this is the ly version, so it's the adverb version, so it has the g in front. So gakinta or gokinta. So you may hear that ch pronounced or not pronounced depending on the dialect. So this is the first time we've added extra vocab that wasn't in the Cora, but I wanted to give you some more household words in case you don't want to just talk about what the Cora talked about. So the word for the table.
On board.
The toilet.
On leherish.
Leherish or a leheris, depending on the dialect. And then the chair.
On chahir.
And that one can be a little bit hard. That was one of the harder ones for me to say in the beginning, and I still trip over it sometimes. Just because it has the guttural sounds back to back. The sofa or the couch.
On tulug.
Okay. The bed.
On laba.
The refrigerator.
On quishnor.
The floor.
On tular.
The rug.
On rugga.
That one's easy to remember. And the sink, usually the kitchen sink, but I think you can call the bathroom sink this as well. I'm not sure, but I think so. But the sink, usually the kitchen sink.
Undertle.
Okay, so undertle. And again, you may hear chul or tull, depending on the dialect there. Okay, so we went through the folklore and everything else. Let me bring things back here and go ahead and share my other screen with y'all. All right, so we went through the Cora the first time, just reading it straight. And then we went through the folklore with the extra folklore because you may not want to just talk about what Clodagh and Ty you're talking about in the Cora. You may want to use other words around the house. And again, it's not a comprehensive list, but you can look up other things that are specific to your house on tangon.ie or terma.ie or folklore.ie. So any of those dictionaries will actually help with that. So if you need any of those for other words. So let's take a look at this one. So I'm going to go through and read parts of these lines. I'm going to break it up slower for everyone and then translate them to English. So the first one we have is Isbralam Dohak. So Isbralam Dohak means I love your house. isbralum de hawk. Unwilshe shan no nua. Is it old or new? Is it old or new? And then Clodagh comes and says, Gurv Magat. Oh, thank you. Is Chach nua Aimshirha a. So it's a modern house. It's a modern house. So it's using the copula here. So we have is, the copula, and then Chach nua Aimshirha, which is modern house, a. So it. So is modern house it. That's how to use the copula there. It's a modern house. Achta Andoris nua agus an winyogsha. So, but the door is new. So this is using ta right here. So ta, when you're connecting a noun, so we have Andoris, we want to say it's new, which is an adjective. We'll connect it with ta. Ta will be our regular to be verb rather than using the copula. So Akta Andoris nua agus an winyogsha, and this window. So the door is new and this window. And then Tig says, Keved shumra ata ege. That means how many. So Keved, how many. Shumra, room. Rooms. Oops, I may have caught a slight error here. Let me add that. Well, no. It might be. I think it's Shumra. So sometimes they use the singular here rather than the plural. So Shumra is singular. Keved Shumra ta ege. So how many room is at it is what it literally says. But it's how many rooms does it have? So remember, to have something in Irish is for it to be at you. If something else has something, it's at it. So just remember the ega or the egg. Ega is egg plus she, which is it or he. All right, and so Clodagh says Ta shumra si awan. So I'm going to break this down. But this entire sentence is lengthy. But the ta at the beginning and the ega at the end are the phrase that means it has. So I'm going to go ahead and translate it to English as it has shumra siyawan, one sitting room or living room, kitchen, a kitchen, ernoi, so that's, of course, Glahomra Folka, 2 bathrooms, agus Trichoma Lapa, Ega, so, and 3 bedrooms. Tashe Shin Intak, or Tashe Shin Untak, depending. So that is wonderful. So Tashe Shin is that is, and Intak is wonderful. Ervalet glena ishka norudegen. So would you like, so remember ervalet is the question form, but bavalum is I would like. So remember that from previous lessons. So ervalet glena ishka norudegen. So would you like a glass of water or something? So rudegen. And then Tide comes back and says, Gukincha, which is certainly bavalum. So bavalum here is I would like, but since he's not specifying anything else in this sentence that he would like, it's actually a response to ervalet, glena ishka no rudegen above here. So remember, no yes or no in Irish. If you ask, would you like something? The answer would be I would like or I wouldn't like. So you're responding with the positive or the negative of what you're asked as far as the verb that's used. So, all right. So if anyone has any questions about that, let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to our pointee grammity. So let's go down here. Now there were grammar points that we covered previously, but I'm only going to touch on the 2 new ones this time. So hopefully when we went through the Cora, you were able to hear some of the older ones that we've gone over and kind of be reminded of those. But here's some of the new ones. So the first one here is the noun, genders, and definite articles. So in Irish, much like in German or Spanish, nouns have grammatical genders, whether they're feminine or masculine. And really that just means that one group of verbs is going to change differently in grammar than the other group of verbs. And that's really all it means. So in English, we have indefinite articles, a or an. So like an apple or a car. So we have, that's an indefinite article. And we have definite articles, which is the word the. So like the car and the apple. So it differentiates between one of some kind of thing or this specific thing. But in Irish, only the definite article gets a separate word and is pronounced un. So un is the word the in Irish, and it's used because the word a or an is already included in the word for Irish, so there's not a word for that in Irish. This can be confusing because un looks like an in English, but it means a completely different thing. So just remember, Irish has no indefinite article. A and an, the English a and an don't exist in Irish, so it's included with the noun. So let's take a look at how this works. So, marhampla. So, for example, glina ishka, a glass of water. Laba, a bed. So, see the a is included in the noun. So, glina means a glass, and laba means a bed. But it's important to learn nouns with un or the alongside it. And this is good if you're using flashcards or any supplemental learning. When you learn a noun, learn it with the definite article there. Learn it with un already in there, because that will help you learn how this word changes depending on different things in the sentence. And also it will force you to memorize the gender of the noun anyway. So it's useful to memorize that change from the start. So masculine nouns, and we'll have some examples. So again, this is just an introduction to this. Don't let it overwhelm you. I know I always say that. But really and truly, if you're memorizing the nouns, if you're learning the vocabulary with the word the attached to it, like I've put in the folklore on this handout, you will get this anyway. It's not going to be confusing. If you learn them all without the word the, then trying to relearn it later. And that's one of the things that held me back for a while too, is I didn't know that until later, that you should learn them with un already attached. So masculine nouns that begin with a consonant don't change when un is added before them. One of the examples we have in our folklore is undoris, the door. So doris by itself and undoris, the noun doesn't change. Nothing happens. But some masculine nouns that begin with vowels get a T dash, a prefix to them, like with unterlar. Unterlar is the floor. So un causes that T to be prefixed onto erlar, which erlar means a floor, unterlar, the floor. And the dictionaries will have these for you. So if you're making yourself flashcards, you can find that, no problem. Feminine nouns, on the other hand, that begin with a consonant receive a H or a lenition when un is added before them. So remember the word for chair, anhahir, that H gets added but after the C when un is there. So it's kahir, but when it's just a chair, but when it's the chair, it's anhahir. So, but feminine nouns that begin with a vowel do not change. So the word for night is ihye. And ihe is O-I-F-A-C-H-E. And when un is near it, it does not put a T or do anything to the other word. So masculine and feminine nouns are opposite in that regard. So with masculine nouns, consonants don't change, but some of the vowel words get a T prefix. With feminine nouns, the consonants do change. They get the H or the lenition, and their sound softens a bit, but vowels don't change. So they're exactly opposite. So if you need any more information for that, you can click the link in the PDF, and that gives you more information breaking down grammatical gender with Irish nouns, and it's a great resource. So the second pointy grammar that we're going to look at is an introduction to counting things and animals. So Irish has actually 3 counting systems. One is just to count, like on your fingers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then to count things, and then to count people. And so it sounds very complicated, and sometimes it can be, but for the most part, most of the time you're going to end up using the simple counting system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you're going to count things. Sometimes you might count people, but it's not as common as the other 2. So if you focus on those, you should be okay, and then the other one will work its way in. So to introduce you to this, the number 1 in Irish is ein. So when it's on its own, it's ein. And then you'll see in another resource I linked there, if you're counting on your fingers, the word which is just an A, is added to before all of the words for numbers. So it'd be a hain, a do, a tree, a cahar, a coig. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're just putting the there, sort of like when in lesson 1 we learned that if we call out someone's name or call out to someone, that gets put in front. So if I were to call out to my friend, I'd say ahara. So that literally means like my friend, but it's ahara. So it has the and changes the beginning. But anyway, that's the regular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just counting numbers. Like if you were to tell somebody your phone number, you'd use that. But when we're counting things, we don't use ein to mean 1. So remember, the noun itself means one of that thing. It means a whatever you're saying. So it means one of that thing. So we don't have to use 1 unless we mean the word any. So take the example here that the PDF has, like ein scale. So any story. So ein means any here and comes before scale. So ein becomes any instead of 1 when it's before a noun, because the noun itself already means that there's one of those. So when we count things that aren't people, we use a wan or a von instead, and that literally just means like one or only. So like only one of this thing. So if we go back to the Korah, remember they said there was only 1 living room, so it was the Shomra Si Awan, not Ein Shomra Si. Ein Shomra Si would be any living room. So is there any living room? But Shomra Si Awan, 1 living room. And then when you go to, and it does come after the noun, and it just emphasizes that singularness, meaning like only one of this, only one of this. Another slightly irregular number, which you'll find in most counting systems, the numbers 1 and 2 often are the most irregular. And even in English, we have numbers like 12, 11 and 12 aren't really the same as like 13, 14, 15, 16, so they don't make as much sense. They are slightly irregular. So in Irish, the same thing happens. So when we're counting 2 things, so the number 2 on its own is do, but when you count things, it becomes ga. So the DH, remember when it gets from our lesson 3, when it gets the H there, it becomes a guttural G sound in the back of the throat. So gaw. So, and it does come before the noun. And gosh through shay, which is 6, causes nouns to begin with the consonants to receive an H or lenition, like gosh, gahomra, gahomra. Even I have a problem with that one, but Gaeilge, there we go. Got it. So Gaeilge, 2 rooms. So note that the noun isn't plural like it would be in English. So instead, they're not saying Gaeilge, they're saying Gaeilge. So it means 2 room, literally, or 2 of a room. So 2 rooms. And then shocked, which is 7, through je, which is 10, cause ellipsis or ur of the noun. So when we went to pronunciation, we haven't got there yet in the Kora, in the conversations. So don't worry about this. This is just introducing it to you so you'll know what you're getting, what you're seeing when it comes up, and it will later on. So it puts a in dash before them, before vowels. And it changes the beginning letter of some of the consonants. So and click the click here link there to see more on counting lists for numbers only. But I did put a list for these. So here's what I've been talking about in this. So we're gonna count houses just for an example's sake. So we have Chak Awan, 1 house, Gaeltacht, Gaeilge, 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 Gaeltacht, Gaeltacht, Gaeilge, Gaeltacht. So that's 1 house to 10 houses. And it does take a little practice. But as you can see, 7 through 10 put the D in front of the T, which that's the uru or the ellipsis, eclipsis, sorry. So that's that D sound. It's basically just a softening of the T. That's all it does. Just like the H also softens here from 2 through 6. So it's just something you have to get used to. And a lot of counting systems do this in other languages, even though English doesn't seem to do this very much, if at all. So I wanted to introduce you to it here. And it's not too often that you may end up using it, but you know, it's one of those things to look out for. So, so let's see. We have, let me go here. All right. So again, if you need to get to changeland.ie or abertcd.ie for help with dictionary things or pronunciation, you can type them into those places and hear pronunciations in all the dialects. And then also, if we go back to the Kora, there's that example of counting things. So this is your sentence to look for if you want to see counting 1, 2, and 3 things. So here we're counting rooms. So, all right. So I hope everybody got some useful info out of lesson 5. And next week, hopefully we'll all 3, myself, Leah, and Molly will all be back on. So if you need the PDF, it will be linked below this video, or I did send it earlier today in the emails. So hopefully that helped. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always send us an email. And again, if you if you see this and you haven't signed up for the emails or haven't got the PDFs already, you can go to our Facebook page, Gaeltacht Greenville, on Facebook, and hit the sign up button. So again, also you can subscribe to this channel and get notifications when we're about to start a lesson or when a live stream is coming up. So Hopefully I will see everybody next week, next Thursday, and hopefully everyone's well. So, Shlán, Shlán go fóill.